Hi everybody, I'm Janine Jensen. Today is Mental Health Monday, and I want to talk about something that if everybody had more of this, the entire world would change. And I don't say that lightly. This is probably the most important characteristic that you can have. And if you don't have it, you can certainly cultivate it in your life. And that is self-love. And I know a lot of people think, oh, of course I love myself. But you know what? There are a whole lot of people out there who do not love themselves. And I can't think of anything more sad than the fact that you might not love yourself. It's almost beyond comprehension. But the number of people that suffer from lack of self-love is really overwhelming. So this is going to be a two-part video. First part, I'm going to talk about the problems it creates not having self-love or not having enough self-love. And then second part is going to be how to cultivate that in your life. Because I really think, I know that this world would change incredibly if everybody just loved themselves. It impacts every part of your life, every part. It obviously impacts your feelings about yourself, your self-worth, your self-confidence. It impacts how you allow people to treat you. It impacts how you treat other people. It impacts your work life. It impacts your personal relationships. It impacts your health. It impacts literally every facet of your life. What lack of self-love looks like is not taking care of yourself, not appreciating yourself, not putting yourself first, not making yourself important in your life, not expecting better things for yourself. The list is endless. When you don't love yourself, you allow people to mistreat you. You mistreat yourself. You accept less than your worth. You don't strive to be the best person that you can be. It is amazing how pervasive not having self-love is. So I want to talk about things that you might be seeing in your life that you might not really identify as lacking self-love, and ways that it manifests itself in your life and in your world. A really big factor in not loving yourself is how you allow people to treat you. When you don't love yourself, you allow people to walk over you. You allow people to abuse you. You allow people to take out their emotions on you. You allow people to take you for granted. You allow people to take advantage of you. You allow a lesser version of yourself. And you deserve better. You deserve all the love in the world. You deserve all of the amazing things this world has to offer. You deserve to be respected. You deserve to be treated well. You deserve all the good things that life has to offer. But before you can get those, you have to love yourself. And you have to love yourself enough to demand that other people treat you with respect and kindness. When you don't love yourself, you accept a whole lot less. You accept the abuse. You accept the crap. You accept the gaslighting, and you accept being with people who don't treat you like you deserve to be treated. You allow yourself to spend time with people who don't value you. And it literally impacts every facet of your life. So what I want to do is to first help you identify the fact that you don't love yourself, and we're going to dig into why that may be. And then secondarily, we'll fix it. We'll figure out how to get you from not loving yourself to putting yourself first and wanting to be with you and putting your needs at the front. I believe when we are born, we are pure, loving souls. You see kids, they're just happy, they're joyful. You don't see a kid that doesn't love itself. You don't see that. It's only once we start growing up and the world starts impacting us, we have our generational traumas, we have our family dynamics that start working on us, and the people around us that tell us we're not good enough, that people that tell us you don't deserve that, and why would you think that you're deserving of love? You don't deserve that. It goes on and on. The abuse, the putting down, the detrimental remarks that sadly so many people get when they're younger in their formative years really takes a toll on their self-esteem. And if you don't feel good about yourself, how can you love yourself? If someone's telling you you're stupid, you're ugly, you're lazy, you're worthless, how can you love yourself? Now, as an adult, we can think around that and we can say, well, you know what, I think you're full of crap, and no, I am lovable and I do love myself. But when you're a child and you don't know any better and you look up to the people in your world who are supposed to be taking care of you, and the only thing they're telling you is that you're stupid, you're ugly, you're worthless, we don't want you. My God, how do you expect a child to come out any other way but self-loathing themselves? How can you expect them to find any self-love in that environment? And unfortunately, a lot of us have grown up in that. And so the first thing to recognize is that you suffer from lack of self-love. And it helps to identify where it came from, especially if you're still allowing those people in your life and you're still believing the stories that people told you. You didn't come to this world and come into this world not loving yourself. That's not how you were created. Over time, many people told you, or maybe they didn't tell you, maybe they just behaved in a way that made you feel unloved, that made you feel like you weren't valuable, that make you feel like you weren't worthwhile. And those are all internalized, and that comes out as self-loathing. So first, you need to identify that, yep, this is an issue in my life. This is something I suffer from. And the first thing you need to do to change this situation, to create a transformation in your life, is to cut yourself some slack. Give yourself a break. Look how you were raised. How could you expect to grow up any other way when you heard the things you heard, and you were told the things you were told, and you saw the things that you saw? I know there's some horrific things that go on in families. It's mind-boggling. And I'm here to tell you that you are lovable, that you are loved, and I want you to feel that same way about yourself. So the first thing I want you to start with is to just take a step back and look to see, where did these feelings of not being loved, not being cared for, where did they come from? Identify those. If you don't, you're always going to be putting a bandage on an open wound, and the wound will never heal. You need to get to the bottom of figuring out, how did this come to be in my life? How is it that I had these feelings when I was born a pure, loving soul? Once you identify that, you don't have to go back to the people who did that to you. It doesn't matter. It's just good to identify it so you can assess it and see where they were wrong. And it's a good place to start moving forward from then. Secondly, you need to start treating yourself like you love yourself and that you're lovable and that you're worthwhile. Because it all starts with you. From here on out, you don't have to deal with all of the stuff that you dealt with growing up. Many of those people are probably gone. Hopefully they're out of your life. But from this moment forward, you're in charge. So every moment when you have a negative thought about yourself, when you put yourself down, when you think less of yourself, you need to stop and you need to say, I love myself and I deserve to be loved. And you know what? If no one else loves me, I don't care, because I love myself and I know that I'm worthwhile. It's the best place to start. Next time we'll talk about some active steps you can take. Identify areas where you're lacking in self-love and allowing unloving feelings to flow through. And we'll nip them in the bud and we'll create a change and create a transformation for you and help you to start loving yourself. Because you know what? I love you. And go unstuck yourself.